Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Metal Chaos. It's your host, Dave. I got a line special guest from heavy metal band from Seattle, Washington, Greyhawk. Darin Hall. How you doing, Darin?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. So how's the band been coping through this coronavirus garbage?
Oh, man, like everybody, just doing the best we can with what we got. I mean, we had definitely released the latest album, Keepers of the Flame, at the kind of close to the beginning of where everything started to get locked down, and it sucks because we had a lot of tours booked. We had a lot of festivals booked. We had festivals in Europe and Canada and here in the States and Mexico, and we had some dates at Flotsam and Jetsam and Hammerfall and a lot of really cool bands coming up, and that all obviously went down the drain. But I mean, the positive was everyone was home with nothing to do, so I think a lot of people listened to the record. So we're just taking it day by day and doing the best we can, and making some merch and writing another record, because what else are we going to do right now, right?
Yeah. So Keeper of the Flame, what month did that come out?
That was in June. It came out, and the response was great. So I have no complaints about that at all. It's been out since June. It's been selling pretty solid, and people seem to be digging it.
Now, where was that album recorded at?
That was recorded here in Seattle. We went to a studio called Magic Mix Studio. It's run by a couple, Shauna and Darin Dom. I just missed. That was pretty much mouth. But they've got a great studio in a city called Renton, which is just outside of Seattle here. And we were actually the first band they ever did a full length with. And it's a great studio. And if anyone's looking to record in town, I highly recommend them.
Now, how long was the writing process for the album?
Well, let's see. I think we started writing these songs kind of in early 2019, I want to say. And then we were in the studio in October 2019. So, the whole process itself, from beginning to, writing the first note to the first song to the end product being finished, was probably about a year. And hopefully, the next one hopefully won't take as long. But by independent band standards, it was pretty quick.
Then before that, you guys put out that EP in 2018, right? The Ride Out.
Yes, sir. We put out Ride Out in 2018. We recorded that in 4 days, I think. We were probably recording that in August of 2018. We put it out in October, and that's about when we started dating as well.
Now the band formed in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, the formation of it kind of came around in 2016. I moved to America and Seattle in 2016, and our guitar player Jesse moved around the same time, and we met up, and we started writing some of these songs. It took us a while to get the solid lineup going. I mean, we had a couple lineups that didn't pan out, and then we took a break, and then we kind of got back together. So it took us a solid 2 years to find the right lineup, and then once we hit 2018, we had everybody in place, and we've just been rolling ever since.
So you said you moved to America. Where are you originally from?
I'm Canadian by citizenship, so I came here in 2016 to start a life here.
Okay. So how did the name Greyhawk come about?
Greyhawk. So there's a small Dungeons and Dragons reference there. Greyhawk is the first world campaign written by Gary Gygax in the Dungeons and Dragons world. So it was kind of inspired by that. We don't necessarily write songs about Dungeons and Dragons per se, but our songs are about high fantasy and adventure and battles and personal struggles and things like that, and rising up and overcoming and winning the fight. So it fits the narrative.
Yeah, that's cool. So now, what's your background on being a musician? When did you start playing the bass?
Oh boy. So I've been dabbling in music my whole life. Always been a rocker, always been a metalhead since high school. Ever since I heard Black Sabbath, that was kind of all I wanted to do. And then I heard Metallica and Slayer and so on and so forth. I knew I wanted to play the bass in 1999 when I saw kind of dating myself there, but in 1999 when I saw the original Black Sabbath play, and the original four guys, and I saw Geezer Butler do his thing for the first time, and I decided that's when I was going to play bass full time. But as far as having bands and doing it on the regular, I guess probably since the mid-2000s I started. And then just played in lots of different styles and whatnot, and been doing it ever since, and still love it.
So how many bands did you play in prior to Greyhawk?
Oh my God! So I played in a thrash band. A lot of these are back in Canada. I played in a thrash band called Entropia in the mid-2000s. I played in a heavy metal band called Mecha Messiah with some longtime friends of mine for a while. I played in a stoner rock band called 88 Mile Trip. I briefly was in an old school Canadian thrash band called Aggression that I helped them reform in 2015, and they've been doing awesome things ever since. Oh God, I've been in lots of tribute bands. I've been in tribute bands to Sepultura, Judas Priest, Pantera, Blind Guardian, and then I've done fill-in gigs for lots of bands. I filled in for Unleash the Archers a couple times, so I've been around.
So now, when you first started playing bass, were you self-taught or did you take lessons?
I first started being self-taught. We'd be in some friends kind of when we decided to start the first band. I started playing guitar because I really want to be a guitar player. But I figured out quickly there was a lot of people that were better than me at guitar, but nobody at all we could find that really played the bass, even at all. So it was kind of an easy switch. I was self-taught, and I kind of dove right into it. I dove into learning Iron Maiden songs right away, which it's not the way I'd recommend everybody start, but that's what the guys I was playing with wanted to do. So I did that. I've taken some lessons over the years. My old drummer bought me a clinic and some lessons with Billy Sheehan a long time ago, and that was that really helped me out a lot. I mean, just those 3 days of listening to him talk and having him give pointers and stuff was incredible. So I learned probably more in those 3 days than I did in the year prior. So I recommend everybody taking a lesson at some point in their life.
Oh yeah, but Billy Sheehan, he's an extraordinary bass player.
He is an incredible bass player. You know what? He's a great teacher too. His manner was really calm. He was one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and it was actually ironically not intimidating at all playing with the guy because he made me feel relaxed really quickly.
Now you got one new member that just joined the band this year, right?
Yep, our old guitar player Enrico, he left the band to pursue other musical interests, and I'll plug his band. He's in a band called Jurassic Down, and they play like some old school grunge inspired rock and roll. They're a great band. So with this, Ali Kamatis is a guy who I've seen play in other bands around town a lot. He was in a band called Dragerhast, and he's done fill-in for a lot of different projects, and I've seen him play a bunch, and I always thought he was a really spectacular guitar player, and I always thought, man, if I had a chance to play in a band with that guy one day, I'd jump on it. So when we had to fill the spot, he was the number one draft pick, and he's actually the only guy we had out to audition. We had him out once, and we were like, yep, that's it, that's the guy.
And you and Jesse are all only ones that have been in since the beginning?
Yeah, that's right. We were the only ones since day one. Everybody else kind of joined over the course of the next couple of years. Some people came and went, and it took a minute for us to get this crew together, but it's the right crew, and they're an incredibly talented bunch. Then
the rest of it is Nate Butler and Rev Taylor.
Yeah, Rev Taylor. Rev is a very highly educated, trained professional opera singer. He sings with some professional opera groups in town here. He's an exceptional talent, and one of my best friends, and he's just a great guy to be in a band with all around. And Nate is one of the most rock solid people I've ever met in my life. This guy. I don't know if you know too much about the geography of Washington State, but Nate lives in Yakima, which is about 2.5 hours east of Seattle. So every Friday he drives 2.5 hours each way to practice with this band. And, he's always the first one in the band to have his homework done. He's always on point, always reliable. And I couldn't imagine Greyhawk without him.
Yeah, that's true dedication right there.
Absolutely, man. He's just, he his work ethic inspires me to keep working hard too. So, I love that guy.
Yeah. So now the new album, Keeper of the Flame, how's the sales been going so far?
Great, man. We're sold out of vinyl, both kinds of vinyl. We're sold out of cassettes. We've blown through more than half of the CDs the label gave us. Digital sales have been going great. So yeah, I've been honestly, it's been hard for a while. It was hard for me to even keep up with the mail orders because we're just this bunch of guys who have full-time jobs, and it's hard to get to the post office some days. But it's been overwhelming, and it's been the support's been really encouraging. So we've definitely seen this as a sign that people dig what we're doing, and we just got to keep doing more of it.
Now, are you guys gonna make more vinyls and all that, CDs and all that stuff?
I hope so. So right now we're signed to a label, Fighter Records in Spain, so it's kind of up to them when a repress is going to happen for vinyl and tape. But yeah, I'm thinking we'll definitely have some more at some point to sell on our end of things. But if people want to get the vinyl, you can still get it from Fighter Records. It's going to come from Spain, and if you don't live in Europe, it might cost a bit, but you can still get the vinyl from them if you want.
Now, do you guys have a merchandise store online where people can buy T-shirts, all that good stuff?
Yep, absolutely. We got shirts. We're almost out of those too. I got to make more, but we got a couple on our Bandcamp, greyhawkmetal.bandcamp.com. You can find our merch store there. We've got a couple other pretty rad designs for songs that are based off of songs for the album. They're going to come out in the next couple of months. We might have one in time for Christmas, but if not, there'll be a couple new designs in the new year for sure.
So what else do you have besides shirts online to buy?
We got patches right now, and we're planning on getting some enamel pins, and we're planning on getting some guitar picks, and we're planning on getting some other stuff, and of course our music, our CDs, and our digital stuff is there as well. So we're planning on expanding quite a bit in the new year, with especially with the new album, another album coming. We'll be cranking out a bit more merch with that too.
So what do you guys got planned for 2021?
Well, I guess we got to kind of see what the world has to say about that. If all these festivals that we had, they still, most of the promoters for that, luckily for us, have been said that we're going to have you guys back when we rebook this stuff. I really hope 2021 involves a lot of playing live. I really hope that whatever the hell it takes to open the world back up happens, and we can get back to having a good time and, playing rock and roll the way it was meant to be played, like on a stage, very loud with a lot of people. And, it's not meant to be done via Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Facebook. It's meant to be in a loud club or in a big stage or an arena or a parking lot or some, So I really hope we can get back to that. But we definitely are going to have a new album next year. That's 100%. There'll be a new full length. It'll be out again on Fighter Records. We're going to do the second one with them again. And I think everyone who likes Keepers of the Flame will dig that one. And hopefully, we'll just have to double it up. We'll be touring on 2 records, I guess.
Yeah. So what's the biggest festival you guys played?
Biggest one so far. Let me think. That would have probably been, we haven't done too many festivals yet. That was all going to come, and unfortunately, I guess the one that I can announce, we were going to play, and it's still technically booked. We were going to play Legions of Metal in Chicago, which would be our biggest one to date.
Reggie's.
That's right. So we're technically still booked for that. I don't know. We're just kind of the guys who do the festival are just kind of playing it by ear and seeing what the viability is of holding the festival in May still. But I guess that depends on what the world has to say about that. So that would be one. We did one in Canada called Hyperspace, which was pretty awesome. That was a couple of days at a big theater in downtown Vancouver, Canada. So we've done that one. And we were also booked to do one in Oregon. The Medford Metal Fest in Oregon was going to happen. And the other ones, unfortunately, I can't say because they never got announced. So I got to wait until we see what happens with those, and I'll be able to announce them. But some of them are pretty damn big. So
have you guys done any big tours in the past?
Touring, we've done we've done, most of our touring has been limited in this band. We do travel a lot. go to Canada for a fair bit. We get down to Oregon and California. We're trying to get to Idaho. We go all over Washington State. So we do a lot of like 3-4 day jaunts over weekends. We haven't done any really huge long tours in this band. I've done, month-long tours in other bands before this. Some of the other guys have done longer tours, but, we're definitely interested in hooking up with like a bigger band and, trying to hook up an opening slot for, a longer tour coming up here. So hopefully we can make that happen as well.
So Greyhawk has not been to the Midwest yet?
Not yet, but that's on the agenda. We definitely want to get out there. I think it's a cool part of the world, and then we need to go out and we need to play some music out there.
Now, how many websites can the band be found on?
We don't actually have an official site, but you can find us. We have our Facebook, which everything, all these tags are going to be Greyhawk Metal, all one word. So we have our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, our Bandcamp, our YouTube channel. You can find our YouTube channel is going to pick up activity next year. Our guitar players are really virtuosic guitar players, so we're going to be doing hopefully some playthrough videos and some really cool guitar shredding stuff in the new year. We also, as our label's website, Fighter Records, extrememusic.com. That's where you can find them. We're on their Bandcamp and their official sites too, so there's a decent web presence. You can find us, fair few places on the web.
All right, so now, Darin, what do you enjoy most about being a musician?
Meeting people. It's twofold. One of the things I really enjoy is meeting people. Most of my lifelong friends who I've forged in my adult years has been through music, one way or another. Either through listening to it, through playing a show, through being in bands, through watching their bands play. Getting to travel around and meet people and connect over the internet with people who, if I didn't do this, I'd have no contact with them is definitely the coolest part. You just get to meet lots of like-minded folks. I also really enjoy the creative process of making a record, starting from zero and starting the, coming up with a concept, an idea, and seeing it, go from inside your brains to, press onto a record is really, really fucking cool.
Now, what do you hate most about being a musician?
Well, I don't know if I hate anything. Let's see. Paying rent for a jam space kind of sucks. But, it's one of those things where you wish it would pay a little better. Everybody who plays in a metal band, an original metal band these days, wishes it paid a little better. But whatever. You got to kind of do it because you love it. If you don't, if you want to get paid, you should be playing country probably in this day and age, or getting a second job. But that would, if there's a pet peeve, I probably just wish we got compensated a little better for what we put out. But that's okay. It's the pros outweigh the cons of playing live music. So
how's the Seattle metal scene like these days?
Well, I'll tell you, before everything shut down, I kicked ass. Since moving here, I got to say, I can't say I've played a show that I thought was a bad show. Turnouts are solid. There's a lot of bands out here. And there's something for everyone. Like if you like doom metal, like this is a place you want to hang out. There's a huge doom scene out here. There's a solid stoner rock scene out here. There's even like a decent, classic metal scene out here too. Like lots of bands like this kind of sound like us. I used to play in a band called Skeletor, who have been doing this, old school traditional metal thing for almost a couple decades now, and they're still doing it. They absolutely kick ass. The Solicitor is another band out here that they do that. They do more of. I guess they're a little more thrashy than we are, but they kick ass. They're awesome. And there's some heavier stuff like bands like Command. They have more of like a. They throw a lot of different stuff together. They throw some thrash, some blackened stuff, some Celtic Frost type riffs, some death metal influence in there, a little bit of punk. Then you got bands like Oxygen Destroyer that are pretty much a pure death metal band. There's a band called Toxic Rain that's old school thrash. So there's lots of rad bands that are just doing really cool stuff, and it's pretty diverse, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you got Pamela Moore out there.
Yeah, we do. You know, of course, we got all that. We got all that. We got Queensryche. We got Air Apparent. We got Q5. You know, there's lots. You know, Fifth Angel. There's lots of. I mean, you go back to Metal Church. You know, I mean, you go back to the old school. There's a lot of old school Seattle metal bands that are in this Washington State metal bands that kick ass. So it's healthy out here.
Yeah, my wife did an interview with Skeletor. I forgot what year. They played a Ragnarok or Metal Apocalypse in Chicago that year.
2016.
I think it was 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I've heard some stories about that from the guys. So yeah, they would. I'm sure. You know, they've been around. They've been doing that for a while. And you know, I joined them in probably 2017, and we only really parted ways this year. And mainly it was just because I needed to focus on Greyhawk, and they needed a bass player that could focus on Skeletor. So it was very mutual and friendly. I still love those guys, and I'm very, very proud of the work I did in that band and the album that we made and the shows we played. And you know, they're gonna come out all guns blazing with some new material, and it's gonna be awesome.
So now, if you didn't become a musician, Darin, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's a good question. I mean, I got a lot of hobbies still. You know, it's not just. I mean, I do like powerlifting and strongman stuff. So I'm big into that. So I'd probably just be doing more of that. I mean, I think if I wasn't playing music, I'd probably just be doing even more powerlifting competition and strongman stuff if I didn't have music around.
Now, are there any musicians that you would love to collaborate with someday?
Yeah, dude, there's a lot. I mean, I would love. I'm a big I'm not like I'm a big Doom guy, so I would love to. If I could write a record with Wino from The Obsessed and St. Vitus one day, I think that would be the coolest experience. I've met and hung out with that guy a couple times, and he's just like one of the raddest dudes in music, and I love his riffs. The way he constructs riffs and melodies and songs, I think, is awesome, and his voice is absolutely one of my favorites in heavy metal. So I would love to work with a guy like that. So that's the one that jumps to mind. You know, it'd be fun to play. I'd love to play in a band. It would with Gene Hoglan. He's just, you know, one of my favorite drummers, and another guy who I've met a couple times over the years, and he's just like one of the most powerful drummers you could ever play with, and it would just be a trip to be in a rhythm section with that guy.
Now, if you were able to have the fans remember one thing about you, what would you want that one thing to be?
If the fans could remember one thing about me, I would love it to be that, you know, I always stuck to my guns and played music I believed in, no matter what style it was. Never worried about trends, never worried about image. Always just wanted to make music that was true, that was honest, and that, you know, was made for people who have similar tastes in me. And I just hope that, you know, there's some songs that I write that leave a lasting impression on people and have the same impact on their lives that a lot of my favorite music had on mine.
Now, have you had any fans come up to you and say any of the songs from Greyhawk have like changed your life? People have definitely told me that the music has meant a lot to them, you know, which is really cool. I mean, there's lots of people that tell me that, you know, hey man, you know, when I'm feeling like my day is going to be a rough day or I need to pick me up, people have really said that, you know, if they want something to cheer them up and make them feel good, that Greyhawk does it for them. And you know what? That's pretty much exactly what we're trying to do with these songs. So that feels really good to hear. Now, do you think you can get any better as a musician? And if so, how do you achieve that?
Oh, yeah. You could always get better. You know, you can always learn. And, you know, at this point, like any one of your skills can improve over time. Playing music is just like playing sports. It's just like exercising. The more you exercise, the stronger you get. The faster you get, the better your endurance gets. You can always improve. And once you've gotten to a certain point, sometimes you got to take a step backwards and look at your basics, because you can develop bad habits over time. Without even knowing it. Taking a lesson sometimes with somebody who maybe plays differently than you is a great way to do it as well, because they can give you new insights and just, you know, learning from your bandmates. I've learned a ton from these guys at Greyhawk because they're so highly educated, and it's you can always you gotta walk around. This is not just for music, but for life too. You gotta have your eyes open. And you got to be seeing what other people are doing, and you can always take something and learn it, and learn from it.
Now, who's the main lyric writer in the band?
Rev, our singer, he writes all the lyrics. I personally believe that a singer needs to believe what's coming out of his mouth on stage. So Rev writes 100% of the lyrics for Greyhawk songs. Sometimes we pitch ideas or themes or titles, and he'll run with it. But in the end, it's kind of his lyrical vision that comes through, and I think that's the way it should be.
Now, who writes all the music?
That's very collaborative. And it kind of depends on the song. Like sometimes one guy will write the whole thing, and then we kind of all one guy will write the whole thing, and then we all kind of collaborate and have our input and make arrangements and make suggestions or changes. Or someone will come to the table with just an idea, and we'll expand on that. But the musical part of Greyhawk is very, very collaborative. I think idea-wise, Jesse, our guitar player, is probably the most prolific with riff ideas, and he is the one who engineers all our demos when we demo songs. So, he has Jesse plays the biggest role in the technical side of writing the music. But the crafting of an album as a whole in Greyhawk is very, very collaborative.
Now, out there in Seattle, do you have any clubs, have promoters that try to do pay-to-play concerts?
Not so much. The musicians here wouldn't tolerate it, I don't think. I mean, there's been a couple spots where, and I don't want to name names because they've kind of stopped doing it, but that would ask you to, sell tickets up front, which is basically pay-to-play. You have to, sell a certain amount of tickets up front. But, there's not much tolerance for that out here. And I think if promoters started doing that, they might get a few young bands out to do it, but the bands that are been around and kind of have a reputation in town would never go for that.
So, what kind of advice would you give for up and coming metal bands out there?
So, if someone who's been doing this for longer than a lot of people have been alive, I always say you got to understand, you got to figure out what your goals are in music and govern yourself accordingly. If you want to do what I do and just play music that's true to yourself and true to what you love, and you play it because you love it, then stick to your guns, and just work hard and temper your expectations, money-wise, and enjoy it. And enjoy every second of it. Your music should not seem like a second job. If band practice is the hardest part of is hard, if it's not the best part of your week, you're doing it wrong. Or you're not playing the music that you want. You got to play the music that moves you, with the people that you want to play it, how you want to play it. You got to really stick to your guns and don't compromise. If you want to make money, sell out. Sell out all the way to the bank. Don't half-ass it. If you want to make money in this industry, figure out how to sell out and sell out hard. If that's your goal. There's one or two paths to take. Stay true to yourself or sell the hell out. And I won't judge you for whichever one you choose.
Yeah, stay true and do it for the love of the music.
That's right, man.
So, I'm going to ask you a few fun questions here before I finish up. Darin, you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what's your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food? Oh my God! So that's funny. I used to be a chef, so I have lots of favorite foods I like to eat. But I'm actually, since moving to America, I'm very partial to Mexican cuisine because we don't have a lot of it in Canada. So I love Mexican food.
All right, since you were a chef, what's your favorite dish to make?
Well, I was a classically trained French chef, so I really liked making old school French food. Beef bourguignon was a fun one for me.
All right, what's your favorite beverage? You could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
I'm a beer guy. I love beer. I brew it. I drink it in moderation on the weekends. Let's say. So yeah, I'm a beer guy all the way.
What's your favorite beer?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I would say probably if I had a desert island beer, I'd say it would probably be Kostritzer, which is a dark lager from Germany.
All right, who's your top 3 favorite bands of a lifetime?
Black Sabbath, number 1 by far in all its incarnations. Manowar and Iron Maiden.
Favorite bassist?
Oh boy, let's say Jimmy Bain.
First concert you ever went to?
First concert was AC/DC.
So what year was that?
1996 on the Ballbreaker tour.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so what musical people inspire you? It doesn't have to be bass player, just musical people in general.
Ronnie James Dio is my number one inspiration musically. He just his spirit and his love for heavy metal, his uncompromising, style, and his attitude and his grace, and how humble he was. He's my number one influence. Very influenced by all of the guys in Manowar, especially the early days. The way they wrote those songs and made them just so epic. Mostly like Triumph of Steel backwards. Those are big influences on me. Jimmy Bain, that bass player, really influences my style in Greyhawk. Testament were always a big influence as well, especially the way Eric Peterson crafts riffs. Wino from The Obsessed has always been a big influence on me. Again, just a true as hell motherfucker. Like, always sticks to his guns no matter what, and he's always he just sticks to true to who he is, and I always really admire that. So I guess maybe for me, like, it's those characters that kind of inspire me a little bit more than someone's playing specifically.
All right, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Terminator 2. Don't even have to think about that one.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, man. I was really like, I love Arnold. I love everything he does. He's one of my favorites. But yeah, the whole, when I was a kid, that whole idea of technology taking over the world, was really an interesting concept, and I kind of took to it, and we kind of see it happen a little bit today.
All right. What's been your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, my most embarrassing moment on stage. I don't know if anyone really realized it, but when I hit the stage on tour once, and we'd eaten some really bad Chinese food the night before, and I had shit really hard the whole time. And I was by the end of the set, I wasn't even trying to look cool. I was just trying not to lose it out my ass on stage. And I literally dropped my bass and ran off stage after the show, and everyone thought I was really pissed off, but I just had to go take a massive dump. So that was that one was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, it could have gone a lot worse. I managed to finish the set, but I probably looked like an idiot.
All right, what's been your fondest memory of this band so far?
Fondest memory of this band? I think there's been so many. I mean, like, Greyhawk has been a wonderful musical experience, and it's really kind of reignited the fire for me to play and make songs. I would say, I would honestly say that when we got signed to Fighter Records, it was a great feeling. It was a feeling that I've always wanted to earn a legitimate label signing on my own, with a group of my friends, based on the quality of our music. And when they signed us, I was just incredibly proud. I was incredibly proud of all the work I put in over the years. I was incredibly proud of all the work that my bandmates put into making this record and this band what it is, and they're just kind of a validation of everything we've been doing. So, that was a very proud moment.
Now, do you have a favorite show that you guys done?
Oh, man, there's been a few great ones. I'd say that probably the best crowd reaction was when we opened for Glory Hammer a while ago, and I gotta admit, I was ignorant to Glory Hammer's music. I didn't know who the hell they were. I didn't know how big they were, but, we took this gig opening for this Glory Hammer band on Tuesday, and we were rolling on stage at 7, and we thought it would be like a do-nothing show. There was like 300 people lined up at 7 o'clock to get in the venue, and they all came in, and all these people kind of pushed their way to the front, and they paid attention to our music, and they went nuts. They went completely apeshit during our set, and I was like, man, this is the power metal audience. Okay, this is who we need to be playing for, and it was a really big breakthrough. And we almost sold out of merch that night. It was just an awesome event. I think our best playing was the last show we did before the shutdown happened. We opened for Thor, and we just absolutely rocked the place. It was Alika's first and only show with us, unfortunately. But I think it was our best performance, and we absolutely just melted faces that night.
Awesome. Well, Darin, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview tonight.
Hey man, pleasure was all mine. They were great questions, and I was really pleased to talk to you. It was a lot of fun.
You have any final words?
Hey guys, I know this COVID thing is hard. I know it's tough. I know live music is on hold. I know we're all itching to get out and see our bands, but support these bands the way you can. Buy a shirt, buy a CD, buy a digital album. Help them out because they need it, and they need, and not just the money. They need that boost to know that people still care. They need to know that when we get out of this crap, that there's going to be people that are going to still come back out and see them when they play. So hold strong, all you other bands out there. Hold strong. We're going to make it out the other side, and it'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Darin. I hope to see you guys out in the Midwest sometime.
Yeah, you will. I guarantee it.
All right, you take care and have a good night, brother.
You too, bro.
All right, bye.
Bye.
You done?